A place I know so well, the Kaizer Flats, just opposite Community 6, etc. More than 400 residents are said to be evicted from their homes by the TDC, that's the Tema Development Corporation, Thursday morning, as the iconic Kaizer Flats are razed down. The TDC is said to demolish the just 4 of the number of those multi-story flats located in those areas. And Matilda Pemega is on the ground now, is joining us live. Good morning, Matilda. Good morning, Matilda.
Community 4, eh?
Yeah, Community 4. And it's where Matilda is joining us live. Well, Matilda, good morning. Matilda, good morning. Well, we'll have to take a break. And thanks for joining me. All right, so we'll be back with the demolition of the Kaizer Flats Community 4. But when they are demolished, please know that new high-rise residential flats will be built, because I know some have also been built fresh or new ones just around Site 3 Community 1 by the TDC. So it's a good thing altogether. But Matilda will be joining us after the break. It's been done in countries like Egypt, etc. So that's okay. I'm told that Matilda is back. Matilda, good morning. Matilda, good morning.
Let's go.
Matilda.
Hello, good morning, Roland.
Yeah, you said let's go. We're already going. So the buildings.
All right, sure. So we are coming to you. Yes.
Have they started coming down?
Live from the Kaizer Flats. Oh, of course, Roland. Majority of the affected residents in these 4 flats that have been earmarked to be demolished by the Tema Development Corporation.
Okay,
most
so
of
we're
them
done.
have evacuated from the flats. Yes, so most of these residents, as we speak now, are out of their rooms. It's only a few of them who have moved their belongings to the corridors. But I can tell you that any moment from now, they won't have access to their rooms, because the entire area has been cordoned off. It's a tight military and police presence here this morning to ensure that this exercise is peaceful. But one thing I would want to let you know, Roland, is that this exercise has been peaceful so far. Since 6 a.m. we've been here monitoring events. NADMO is here, officials from the TDC, they are all here ensuring that residents who are in these 4 flats that have been earmarked to be demolished due to structural defects are all out of their rooms. And at the moment, I've been joined by Engineer Sandok, who will be speaking with me to get more understanding as to exactly what we expected to see in the coming days. Thank you so much, Mr. Sandok, and you're live on JoyNews. Let me first find out from you. You have cordoned the area off. It appears this exercise has been peaceful since morning. What should we expect in the coming days?
In the coming days, we want to immediately do a hoarding so that will prevent people from going back to the flats, because we are actually very serious to make sure that these flats come down so that lives are not endangered.
Sure. We know that it's only 4 flats that have been marked by TDC. There are several other flats. How are you going to ensure that indeed these people who have already moved out of their rooms will not find access into their rooms again?
Yeah, that's why I said that we are going to build a hoarding around it. We will hoard the whole place so that it will be very difficult for people to go back into the flats.
I realize that the entire place have been cordoned off. Some people still have their belongings on the corridor. What are we going to do to all these things that are here? Because the people themselves cannot be seen.
Okay, we are expecting that those whose materials and things are on the corridor should come and pack them. And I think NADMO has put an arrangement in place to make sure that all those people vacate this place premises, because it has been declared a dangerous zone.
Sure. Engineer, I am not a building expert, but the little I have seen touring this place since morning, I realized that there are other flats which haven't been marked as the danger zone, as you put it. But I see some in very, very terrible state. What is going to happen to the remaining flats?
The remaining flats, we have also those flats in mind in future to make sure that those ones too are demolished. But a plan will be put in place to get the people who occupy those flats to move out. And then when the place is free, then we can go ahead with our demolition and construction.
So for these 4 flats that have been marked, when are we going to see it all coming down?
It won't take too long. We are still discussing the modalities. We are trying to see how we can get competent consultants and contractors who can help us bring down the buildings without any damage to property.
But is there a plan as to what the TDC intends to do with these with this area when these buildings go down in the country?
Because our intention is to bring down these old flats and reconstruct new ones. So we have an intention of redeveloping the place. And when it is done, people will start seeing new flats coming up. That is our intention.
Well, I know that these buildings, if not built at the same time, at least they were built within the same year. Why have we marked 4 and left others? Yesterday, when I interacted with some of the residents, they talked about selective eviction. Is that the case here?
That is not the case. These 4 are those that are in a very deplorable state. If you enter into some of them, you will see that even the slabs are falling. And so that is the reason why we have decided that these 4 have been declared dangerous, and then we have to bring them down immediately. We have plans for the other ones, but these are the ones that are in a very terrible state. So it is not a question of selective eviction, but we want to make sure that lives and properties are safe.
All right, so Engineer Sanjog, I want to find out from you. I know it took years of legal battle, the TDC and residents, to get this work done today. Is that going to be the case for the remaining flats? And I'm also picking information that some of the occupants bought some of the other flats. What is going to be the plan, and how are you going to deal?
Yeah, once those people have legally acquired their properties, those ones, it will not be a question of just coming in to eject them. At least before you move them out, you have to put a plan in place, at least for resettling them. Maybe if it's a question of getting some flats somewhere and moving them out to those places. We'll look at all those modalities.
Are we doing same for the over 400 who have been evicted from the 4 flats we talk now?
The 4 flats that we have evicted them this morning, what happened was that the legal occupants were compensated. We gave them lands to move.
What form of compensation was that?
Them lands to move.
When was that?
It's about some... I don't actually remember, but it's a very long time. It's a very long time.
Was it lands given to them free of charge?
That one I may not be in the position to answer, but I know that they were given lands. We told them that the flats were in a very dangerous state. So they were given lands to move. So the real occupants, the real tenants had moved. The people that we are evicting today, most of them are squatters.
Most of them are squatters.
I can even see that many of them are squatters. Yeah, yes.
But yesterday, some of them talked about the fact that, yes, they were given some lands in the past. Lands at very subsidized rates for them, and some of them were unable to move out of the place. For these other buildings that you are looking at, that you're saying that in the coming days they are likely to also be evicted, what processes are there for you to go through?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that we have a master plan to redevelop the whole place. But we are looking immediately at these very dangerous ones that we want to pull down immediately. But we will structure it in such a way that we will look at the other ones in the near future.
How soon are we supposed to see all these coming in place?
Mr. Adasanti said he should come and interview me. Yeah, that is why I'm also asking.
All right, so we have been interacting with Engineer Sanjog. Let me get your full designation. I know you'll be here for the whole day.
I'm the Chief Engineer for TDC.
Okay, so he's the Chief Engineer for the Tema Development Corporation, and he is ensuring, he is in fact inspecting all that we have in place this morning is going to be peaceful. But I can tell you that since 6 a.m. we've been here monitoring events. It's been a peaceful eviction. Most of the residents have moved out of their rooms, and this is just one of the flats that you're seeing in the shot. And from here we'll be moving to the other flats to ensure that indeed the residents are adhering to all that. It's been difficult trying to get some of the residents to speak to. Those you see around who are looking on, a few of them who are in the other flats who haven't been affected, but some of them have fears that if this is happening to the 4 flats, it means in the coming days we're going to see the TDC coming to their flats to evict them as well. But they are not ready to speak to me now, but we'll try as much as we can to get the thought of some of these residents, especially those who are in the buildings that haven't been marked for demolition in the coming days. We'll be finding out from them what plans they also have in the coming days, because it's already been confirmed by the TDC engineer that in some few months to come, they would be the next target for them. But for most of them, they legally acquired some of the properties. So there is a master plan to deal with all these issues. So we'll be bringing you more as we station here at the Kaizer Flats in Tema Community 4. Roland.
Well, Matilda Pamaga, thank you very much, giving us a very comprehensive report on what the residents had been saying we'll be going through, and then the position of the TDC. Now, we know that these flats are being demolished. As you can see, all these ramshackles, so to speak, because they've passed their time by engineering standards to still be up there, will be pulled down. I know as a matter of fact that when you go to around site 3 of Community 1, others were also pulled down and new ones had been erected, and those ones also, I believe, are up for sale. That's those that have not been occupied. The TDC has some arrangements, Mamavi, for those who own the old ones to...
So those who bought the flats?
To have some reacquisition of the new ones. Of course, the inflationary trends would mean that you need to top up.
So you balance it a bit?
Yeah,
and
if you can afford.
It.
But you
otherwise,
always,
they may refund.
But you always have a first right of purchase because you... But if you're a pensioner, then it becomes a certain difficulty.
I think we should also follow up to see how much the new flats are going for, the difference that people would be paying.
Yeah,
because it has to also be fair.
It has to be affordable.
Yeah. Yeah.